The Salem Witch Trials. Fear, belief, and history in the late 17th century. A wave of fear swept through the small Puritan community of Salem Village in Massachusetts. It was a fear so intense that it tore apart families, destroyed reputations, and cost innocent people their lives. The Salem Witch Trials remain one of the most infamous episodes in American history. A time when belief, superstition, and hysteria overcame reason and justice. The story of Salem is more than just a tale of witches and trials. It is a window into the power of fear, the dangers of unchecked authority, and the ways in which societies can unravel when suspicion takes hold. To understand the Salem witch trials, we must begin with the world in which they occurred. In 1692, Massachusetts was a colony still struggling to survive. Settlers faced harsh winters, food shortages, and constant threats from conflict with Native American groups and rival European powers. The community of Salem Village was deeply religious, shaped by Puritan beliefs that saw the world as a battleground between God and Satan. To the Puritans, the devil was real, witches were his servants, and sin could bring divine punishment on the entire community. This mindset created fertile ground for suspicion and fear. The trouble began in January of 1692, when two young girls in Salem, village 9-year-old Betty Paris and 11-year-old Abigail Williams, began to exhibit strange behaviors. They screamed, threw fits, and claimed to be pinched and pricked by invisible forces. The local doctor could find no physical explanation, and so he concluded that the girls were victims of witchcraft. This diagnosis set off a chain reaction that would spiral out of control. Soon, other girls in the village began to show similar symptoms. They contorted their bodies, spoke in strange voices, and claimed to see specters tormenting them. In a society that believed firmly in the presence of the devil, these behaviors were taken as proof of witchcraft. Pressure mounted to identify the culprits. The afflicted girls accused 3 women: Tituba, an enslaved woman from the household of Reverend Samuel Paris; Sarah Good, a homeless beggar; and Sarah Osborne, an elderly woman who had defied social norms. All 3 were outsiders in different ways, making them easy targets. Tituba, under intense pressure, confessed to practicing witchcraft. She claimed there were many witches in Salem working for the devil. Her confession validated the fears of the community and ignited a witch hunt that spread like wildfire. Over the next months, accusations multiplied. Neighbors accused neighbors, children accused parents, and old grudges were settled under the guise of fighting evil. The legal system quickly became overwhelmed. Special courts were set up to handle the growing number of cases. Judges accepted spectral evidence testimony that the spirit or specter of the accused had appeared to the victim in a vision as valid proof. This controversial practice allowed almost anyone to be accused, since dreams and visions could not be disproved. Between February 1692 and May 1693, more than 200 people were accused of witchcraft. 19 were executed by hanging, and 1 man, Giles Corey, was pressed to death with heavy stones for refusing to enter a plea. Dozens more languished in prison, suffering in terrible conditions. Many of the accused were women, but men were not immune. Prominent community members, including respected churchgoers, found themselves accused. The trials revealed deep divisions within Salem, fueled by family rivalries, economic tensions, and personal grievances. The hysteria reached its peak in the summer of 1692. Courts held sessions where crowds gathered to watch as the afflicted girls collapsed, screamed, and claimed to see specters of the accused. Judges and ministers urged repentance and confession. Those who confessed to witchcraft were often spared execution but pressured to name others, feeding the cycle of accusations. Those who maintained their innocence faced the gallows. Fear silenced many who might have spoken out, as defending the accused risked drawing suspicion onto oneself. One of the most striking aspects of the Salem witch trials is how quickly they spiraled beyond control. What began with the strange behavior of a few children became a full-blown crisis that engulfed an entire community. Fear of the devil combined with local politics and personal vendettas to create an atmosphere where logic and compassion were abandoned. Salem became a place where the mere whisper of witchcraft could destroy lives. The trials eventually ended, but only after skepticism grew among influential figures. Increase Mather, a respected Puritan minister, argued that it was better for 10 guilty persons to go free than for one innocent person to be condemned. Governor William Phipps, disturbed by the chaos, finally intervened. In October 1692, he prohibited further arrests and disbanded the special court. The use of spectral evidence was banned, and in the following months, many of the accused were released. By May 1693, the last of the trials had ended. The damage, however, had been done. Families had been torn apart, reputations ruined, and innocent people executed. In the years that followed, the community of Salem struggled with guilt and regret. Some judges publicly admitted their errors. Jurors issued apologies. Families of the executed sought compensation. The tragedy of Salem became a lasting symbol of injustice, a warning of what happens when fear overrides reason. Historians have long debated the causes of the Salem witch trials. Religious belief was certainly central, but other factors played a role. Salem was a community divided between Salem town, more prosperous and connected to trade, and Salem village, more rural and isolated. Economic tensions and power struggles created resentment. Some historians suggest that land disputes fueled accusations, as accusing a neighbor could open the door to seizing their property. Others point to the role of gender. Women, especially those who defied traditional roles, were disproportionately targeted. Independent widows, outspoken wives, and those who challenged authority were more vulnerable to suspicion. Another factor may have been environmental. Some researchers have argued that the strange behavior of the afflicted girls could have been caused by ergot poisoning, a condition brought on by eating rye infected with a fungus. Ergot can cause hallucinations, convulsions, and paranoia. Symptoms similar to those described in Salem. While this theory is debated, it highlights how natural explanations may have been misunderstood in a society inclined to see the supernatural. The Salem witch trials did not occur in isolation. Across Europe, from the 15th to the 17th centuries, tens of thousands of people were executed for witchcraft. The beliefs that fueled Salem were part of a larger cultural moment when fear of witches gripped communities on both sides of the Atlantic. What makes Salem stand out is its scale within a relatively small community and the detailed records that survive, allowing historians to reconstruct the events in vivid detail. In modern times, Salem has become synonymous with the dangers of mass hysteria. The trials are taught as a lesson in the importance of due process, the dangers of scapegoating, and the consequences of fear-driven justice. The phrase witch hunt is still used today to describe unfair persecution. Salem also raises questions about how societies respond to crises. When fear takes hold, who gets blamed and why? What do you think about the Salem witch trials in 1692? Let me know and write it in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you.